Good morning. Happy Monday. Gonna go live in all the places. Super excited to talk about the importance of being modern. So just give me a second. Here we go. Live on Facebook, live on Instagram. Say hi. Let me know if you're here and watching live. Welcome. Happy, what is this today? November 17th. We are like a week and a half out from Thanksgiving here in the US. Good to see everybody. Say hi. Let me know where you are watching from. Hopefully, we'll have no tech issues this week. I think I worked everything out, but I'm excited to talk. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. I'm excited to talk about the importance of being modern. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I do have a couple of quick announcements. First, this is Modern Brands Week here on my channel. So that's going to be on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. I will be talking about modern brands, shopping, how to curate your wardrobe, how to find things that look modern. And so I felt like this topic today really tied into that really well. Also, at 11 a.m. today, I do have a masterclass. So if you have not signed up, the link is below this video wherever you are watching it. So definitely join us for the masterclass today at 11. We're going to be talking about how to curate a wardrobe, and really how to look at your wardrobe as a curation and not just as a random collection of things that you've acquired, right? Good morning. Yay! I'm so glad you're here live, Vivian. It's so nice to see you. Oh my goodness. I love seeing these familiar names from familiar people. I wish I could see all of your faces. I wish that's the way that this worked. That would be amazing. But I can on Zoom. So if you can join me on Zoom at 11, I would love to see you guys. So let's talk about the importance of being modern. And I was thinking about the filters and the triangle that I've talked about, the three parts that I feel like we all need in our wardrobes, and the three boxes that I insist and I believe passionately that we should all be checking when we're considering buying a new item, when we are looking at what we are editing and not editing in our wardrobes. And those three boxes are: do you love it? Does it love you back? And is it modern? And I was kind of thinking, like, what is my order of those items? What do I think is the most important? Hello, Netherlands, Iowa, Georgia. Good to see everybody. What is my order of those items? Do you love it? Does it love you back? Is it modern? And I kind of feel like modern needs to be first. So in the last masterclass series, I talked about the confidence filters. The confidence filters are the filters that I think we should all be using to narrow down the bajillion items that are available to us to just a manageable number of items that we are going to consider. And those filters include things like color and fit and flattery, but they also include things like, will I wear it? Do I love it? But the one of the filters we were looking at is it modern? And I kind of feel like, okay, we're at a store and we're looking at something that we're considering buying, and we're not going to grab it unless we like it. But then the very next question we're going to ask ourselves is it modern? Is it modern? I feel like this needs to be a filter before, do I feel like I can wear this? Does it check a bunch of other boxes for me? Because if it's not modern, we're going to pass it by and we're not even going to go through that checklist. So I feel like modern should be one of the top filters that we use. And I'm going to tell you why I think modern is so important and why I think it is a game changer when we start leaning into modern styles as opposed to just leaning into what we like, what we're comfortable in, what we've always worn, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so modern, let's just clarify what modern means in my book. Modern is not about chasing trends. It's not about finding the trendiest items. It's not about finding the items that are like, very November 2025. Modern is about an overall look that is current, that looks like it's in this era. And it's very easy when we look back on eras to identify something as being from the 1960s or the 1970s or the 1980s. One day we're going to look back and we're going to see a specific look Even though I will say style is a lot more eclectic now than it ever has been, we're still going to be able to see a specific look that was tied to the 2020s. And so it's really like being relevant to the era that you're in. It isn't about, oh, I have to buy what is absolutely the hottest thing this season, but it is about looking like we're all in the same time period, right? And the thing is that style in the last 5 to 10 years has changed dramatically. So if we're wearing clothes in 2025 that we also wore in 2015, we're not going to look modern. That is a different era in terms of the way that the clothes looked. So it's not about chasing trends. It's about staying visually current so that your style signals relevance, confidence, and vitality. I think it's really important that we look like we are paying attention to what is happening in style, because what we don't want to do is wake up one day and realize that we have been wearing the same uniform for the last 20 years, and just style has passed us by and the world has passed us by. What happens when we wear really outdated clothes is that we look like we are not paying attention to what's happening in style, and we lose our I think our impact in, because people are writing us off before they even, and I know that sounds harsh, I do not mean it to sound harsh, but what happens when we look dated is that people think we're not paying attention to what's happening, and that we sort of lose our ability, I think, to make as much of an impact. So I think that this cannot be overstated in its importance. And again, this doesn't mean that you need to have updated your wardrobe in the last 6 minutes. It does mean that you need to have updated your wardrobe in the last 6 years. Okay, so there's a difference. Women over 50 often get left behind by mainstream fashion messaging, because what happens is that a lot of the clothes, we're seeing very, very trendy clothes aimed at very, very young women, modeled on models who are young and very tall and very slim and often half naked. And then we see clothes modeled on over 50 women that are not modern. And so where's our place in all of this? Where's our place in this conversation? Why does style no longer seem relevant to women over 50? So that's something I'm going to talk about. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of leaning into ageless brands. So this is something I talk about a lot. I do have an ageless brands list. You can comment below and I will get it to you. But I'm going to be talking about ageless brands this week, starting with tomorrow, when I'm going to be talking about the problem with over 50 brands. And then on Friday, I will be talking about ageless brands and brands you should be considering. So how do we get out of the too trendy or too matronly trap? Because sometimes it feels like those are our only options. We're going to be too trendy. We're going to wear, clothes from, whatever, Windsor or Forever 21. Is Forever 21 even still a thing? That are aimed at 20-year-olds that are completely going to age us in a totally different way, because they're going to look silly and like off and awkward. Or we're going to lean into brands that are marketing gargantuan printed tunics for us. What are our options in between? The options are, yes, I will get you ageless brands. The options are the ageless brands. Ageless brands are brands that we can shop at 30, we can shop at 50, we can shop at 70. These are brands that are not 20-year-old specific, and they're not 70-year-old specific. None of us need either of those extremes. What we want are clothes that are modern, that are wearable, that are stylish, but do not make us look and feel like we are trying to be 20, and do not make us look and feel like we are trying to be 90. None of us want to dress like our daughters or our mothers. So this is this in between range of brands that meets our needs where we're at right now. So that's the first tip I will say is stop feeling like, oh, well, I turned 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, whatever that number is for you. And all of a sudden now I need to stop. I need to stop shopping ageless brands, and I need to start shopping mature brands. Mature brands, for the most part, are not our friend. And you can tune in tomorrow on YouTube to find out the many reasons why. Okay, so let's talk about why we sometimes become unmodern without realizing it. Why sometimes we look dated, and this is not meant to be a judgment at all. Just recognize that style is the thing that I am an expert at. I'm not an expert at whatever it is you're an expert at. Maybe you are amazing at, maybe you're a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, or maybe you're an amazing gardener or great at sewing. I'm not good at any of those things. I'm not good at any of those things. This is my area of expertise. So the reason I'm telling you this is because you do not need to feel bad because you have not kept up with style. Style is hard to keep. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Um, Style is not the type of thing that, unless you are paying attention, it's very, very easy to wake up one day and find yourself not stylish, or not like, or find yourself like out of the loop when it comes to style. Because what happens is that we're all super busy. Everybody has a lot going on, everybody is busy, and you go through this phase of your life where it's all hands on deck, and you're busy with work and maybe and family and other commitments, and then you wake up one day and you're like, I haven't paid attention to this in a while. I haven't focused on my wardrobe in a while. I haven't focused on my style in a while. There's absolutely no shame in that. Like, that is just part of being an adult. Is sometimes we go through seasons where we are very, very busy, and where style takes a back seat. And so often in our 50s and 60s, this is a time to revisit that and to say, something, maybe I have a little bit more bandwidth now. Maybe I have a little bit more time now. Maybe I can think about this again. And so I'm here to help you when you're ready to start tackling that again, right? And to simplify it for you. Okay, so why have we become unmodern without realizing it? Well, these are the habits that we've probably acquired over the last several years that maybe have made us feel a little stuck in our style. The first is habit dressing. So it's repeating the same silhouettes that we've always worn because we're comfortable with them. So maybe, this is a silhouette that we started wearing 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and we're just wearing that same silhouette on repeat. We're used to wearing skinny jeans on a longer top because in 2015, everybody was wearing skinny jeans on a longer top. And so we continue to wear those same silhouettes out of habit. And because we're busy, and because life takes over, and because style is not everybody's focus like it is mine, you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I've been wearing the same look for a while. I wonder if it's still in style. And you look around and you're like, oops, nope, it's time to update, right? Another reason that we might get unmodern in our style is that we sometimes have an emotional attachment to old outfits that made us feel amazing. So sometimes, and we've all looked back on outfits and we're like, oh, I love that. That made me feel so incredible. I felt so cute in that, whatever. But maybe it was an outfit that you wore at 25 or 35 or 45, or even 55. And you're like, yeah, that's just not, it's not relevant style wise anymore, but maybe it doesn't even suit me anymore. Another reason is that, we were under the impression, or someone told us, that after a certain age, we either needed to stop wearing color, we needed to stop wearing X. And so our wardrobe looks like a sea of bland neutrals. I'm not talking about your best wardrobe neutrals, but I'm talking about like just a sea of nondescript neutrals in forgiving shapes. That happens to a lot of women. And I know, and I'm just going to say, I'm not here to, there are a lot of good people that you can listen to about style. I'm not here to say that one person is wrong or someone else is right. But I will say that I know that there's a widespread idea out there, and a lot of people are talking about it on YouTube, that we should give up prints over the age of 50. I feel very passionately against that. I feel like prints are one of the markers of our style personality. And if we give up prints, we lose a lot of the potential personality in our style. So it's about choosing the right prints, not eliminating prints entirely. But I think a lot of women do get this message that, okay, I need to give up prints. I need to give up bright colors. Can I wear this anymore? And then our clothes and our wardrobes become dull, and they become kind of monotonous, and we kind of feel like we're wearing grunge every single day, day in and day out. And if you look great in grunge, I am jealous of you. Not my color, but none of us want to look like bland and like our wardrobes lack personality. Okay, and then the final reason we might be becoming unmodern is that comfort zones that become style traps. So again, we're comfortable wearing something specific, like we're comfortable in like slouchy sweaters, or we're comfortable in pull-on pants, or we're comfortable in, and there's a way to do all of these things, but we're comfortable in empire waist dresses. And so we kind of stop looking at what those things actually look like on us because we're just kind of wearing them on repeat. Okay, so let's talk about what modern actually means today. So there is an overall kind of silhouette that signals a specific era. We all know there was that mod silhouette in the 60s, right? And then the 50s was all about like the waist and then the full skirt. So there's a silhouette. And although we have more than one silhouette in the 2020s, there are silhouettes that signal the 2020s in the same way that there are silhouettes that signal the 20 teens. So in the teens, the silhouette was skinny pant, long, loose top, often short jacket worn over long, loose top. In the 2020s, we have had straighter to wider leg pants worn with waist to hip length tops and jackets that come down below the hem of the top. The silhouette has shifted. And so it's important to update the silhouette. I will tell you, this is the single biggest mistake that I see women make when they share outfits in my Facebook group is that they are wearing dated silhouettes. They are wearing silhouettes from 10 years ago. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad the sound is good this time. Okay. The next way, what modern actually means today is that we're paying attention to proportions. So when we shift the styles that we're wearing, we have to figure out how to style those new pieces. So we were wearing, again, skinny jeans, longer tops, the booties with the little cutouts on the side. When you start wearing different jeans, you're going to need to start thinking about how the tops look with those jeans, and how the boots look with those jeans, and how the shoes look with those jeans. Like, so you need to look at the overall, we're not just switching the pair of jeans, we're switching the whole outfit formula and the whole silhouette. The other thing that we've seen really predominantly in style over the last few years is that we're seeing a lot more clean lines and a lot more simplicity. I'm going to say that one of the downfalls of the over 50 brands is what I call, but wait, there's more. A lot of those over 50 brands are like, don't know when to leave well enough alone. They will add a detail and then they'll add 12 more details. And then the outfit becomes immediately dated before it even leaves the store. So it's not your fault that you go into a certain store and you walk out with a top that you think is current. You think it's current because it's currently in stores. And just because it's in stores doesn't mean it's in style. And that is why I caution you against shopping statement pieces at over 50 stores. If you have an over 50 store that you love because of the fit or the quality or the convenience, shop your basics there, but stick to simple pieces at those over 50 stores. If you go for the statement pieces, you are often going to walk out with something that is already dated. What is happening now in style is, we've had cleaner lines, we've had some simplicity, and when we do have embellishments and interest like we do this season, they look very different. And again, watch tomorrow's video. I'm going to show you the difference between a modern embellished piece and a dated embellished piece. And that dated embellished piece happens to currently be in a store. Okay, the next thing is that signals modern is color pairings and color combinations. So colors do not go in and out of style. Okay, that's not. Let me give a caveat to that. Colors, obviously, we have the Pantone colors of the season, and right now everyone knows chocolate brown and burgundy are trending. However, next year, brown is not going to be out of style. If brown is a neutral that works for you, you should and could continue to wear brown. However, what happens when a color comes into style is that color becomes more readily available. And so that's why I always say, if brown is your color, this is the season to buy it, because next year it might not be available as easily. But that doesn't mean that brown is out of style. What does go out of style are color combinations and color pairings. So a few years ago, I was really, really into like the color blocked looks where they had one bright color worn with another bright color worn with another bright color. And it was the pairing of like hot pink and red and bright yellow. or lime green and turquoise and magenta, whatever. So they would take 2 to 3 really bright colors and pair them together, and that was a color blocked look. That was a trend. So it's color combinations that are trends. I did a whole color combinations video. This season, the trends that we're seeing in color combinations, and an easy way to update your wardrobe is to mix colors in a way that feels modern. So this season, we're seeing a lot of brown worn with black. We're seeing navy worn with black. We're seeing lots of neutrals worn together. And then we're seeing rich fall colors worn with neutrals. So those are the color combinations we're seeing. We're not seeing as many highly contrasted color blocked combinations this season. So color combinations do go in and out of style. And if you want to update your wardrobe easily and look modern, you want to stay with the color combinations that are currently happening. Okay, let's talk about the modern movement and why I would encourage you all and cheer you on if you are planning on joining my modern movement. Now, I am going to tell you one of the things I've seen a lot recently that is very distressing, and I needed to like take a break and put my feet up after I saw this, because I was like, are you kidding me? I've seen multiple people who are speaking to women over 50, women like us, saying why it's okay to wear unflattering clothes. I vehemently disagree with this, and I will tell you why. I feel like we have a sensor where if we look at ourselves in the mirror and we know that our clothes don't look good on us, we're not going to have the best day. Like if we're not feeling cute in our clothes, we're not going to be outwardly focused. Instead, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hyper focused on what we're wearing and how we feel in it, and maybe why we don't love it as much. Nobody needs that in their lives. Nobody needs that in their lives. You do not need to be thinking all day about why what you're wearing doesn't look good on you. So I think it's a slippery slope to say, go ahead and wear unflattering clothes. However, I will say that even more detrimental to the way that we feel about ourselves is wearing clothes that are out of style. I would almost rather have you wear clothes that are less flattering than to wear clothes that are less modern, because less modern is something that signals to ourselves that we've stopped paying attention and maybe stopped checking that box for ourselves, but it also signals to the rest of the world that we're like past our prime. And I don't feel that way. I feel like this is our prime. Like I have never felt better or more confident or more like I'm getting things together than I do right now. Are there challenges with being 55 and a half? Absolutely. But I feel like I'm coming into my own, and I want you all to feel the same way, regardless of what age you're at. But dated clothes kind of send the opposite message. And I feel like nobody needs clothes that are going to be talking about them behind their back and making them feel bad. So I feel like modern is almost a more important box to be checking than flattery, although they're both very important. Okay, let's talk about the psychology of modernity, which is kind of what I've been talking about. Being modern is a choice, right? It's a choice, but it's also a practice. It's something that we can say, you know something, I'm choosing to show up in a modern way because I want to feel fresh and relevant in my style. That's a choice. You can say, you know, I don't care. I'm going to wear boots from 2013. And that is totally fine. Obviously, every single person has the right to make that decision for themselves. I believe that you are doing yourself a disservice if you do that. So with love, as your fashion friend, I'm going to encourage you to keep it modern because I know it's going to be a game changer. So another thing is none of us are born modern, right? It's something that we all have to kind of pay attention to. Every couple of years, we need to look around and see what's going on. None of us are going to stay modern if we're not really paying attention to what's going on. Even me, I pay more attention to the rest of you, so you guys don't have to. But it's not something that's intuitive to anyone. It just requires us like really looking around. And so I would invite you to join me in this modern movement. And I've said this before. If you are able to type in the chat, just say modern movement and tell me if you're on board, because I want us to reject the idea that we no longer need to look modern after 50 and we can just let it all go. We can absolutely do whatever we want to do, but we're going to choose what serves us best. And in my opinion, that doesn't serve us. Okay. So looking modern signals openness, relevance, curiosity, adaptability, energy. And this is why I will always say we need to dress our energy, not our age. And by energy, I don't mean how energetic you are, but it means how you appear, like your vibe, right? So your clothes should match your vibe so that you feel, yes, so that you feel and look your best. Nobody knows your age. Nobody knows your size. It doesn't. Neither of those things matter. Yay! Neither of those things matter. What people will get is just that impression that you make, and your clothes need to match that. Okay, modern dressing helps you feel seen again in a life stage where the world often is tempted to overlook us. We're not going to let that happen. No one's going to overlook me with my crazy hair and my red lipstick. But whatever that is for you, it's and you can have much very different style than I do. And one of the things about being a personal stylist is that I truly appreciate and celebrate all different types of personal style. But you need to show up as yourself in a modern way, so that the world continues to value what we have to contribute. And again, this is a stage where a lot of times, whether it's in a workplace or whatever setting you're in, we can start feeling overlooked. And I'm going to push back against that with you. Yes, thank you. Okay. Another thing is that when your style is contemporary, people read your mindset as being contemporary too. They are more likely to listen to us. Yes, thank you from Norway. Awesome. They are more likely to listen to us and to treat us with the respect that we deserve when we look relevant. I wish, that we lived in a world where people did not make a get that first read on us or that first impression and make a determination about us based on that first impression. We don't live in that world. If we did, then we could all just show up in, crazy hair and like whatever, sloppy clothes, and nobody would care. We know that the way that we dress affects uh, the way that other people respond to us, but also how we feel. And so it's really, really important. Okay, let's talk about a couple of warnings modern or being modern. The first warning sign is that you are always relying on the same safe beauty look that you had 15 years ago. So maybe you're wearing your makeup and your hair exactly the same way that you did 10, 15 years ago. Beauty is one of the easiest ways to give yourself a modern look. So updating your hair, updating your makeup, and then also leaning into your personal style and your personal brand when it comes to your hair and makeup. So for example, I will always at least for the foreseeable future, choose to wear my hair in my natural curl and wear red lipstick because that is both modern for me, but also speaks to my personal style. So it's about finding your own signature look with your beauty and then tweaking it every few years so that you are consistently modern. Another way that we may get stuck in our style and not be modern is still dressing for the body that we had 20 years ago. I've had this come up myself many times where I've put on something that looked good 15, 20 years ago that was maybe used to be my best silhouette. And I'm like, it doesn't even matter if your weight hasn't changed dramatically. Sometimes it just feels off. Like it just is, it hangs on you differently. Like it sits on you differently. And so it's important to just kind of reassess every few years and be like, does this still feel like me? Does this still work for me? Rather than being on autopilot. Another way that your style might not be modern is that you're reaching for busy prints. And by busy prints, I'm going to say these are the prints that are sold at the over 50 stores. Often these prints are deadly to our style. And I am saying this as someone who is a big advocate of prints. Yes, a big advocate of prints, a big fan of prints, but it's about picking the right prints from brands that are known for prints. I've done so many videos about this. If you are buying a lot of your prints from stores that are aimed at women over 50, chances are your prints are hurting your modernity. Another thing that you may be doing that is making you feel and look less modern is that you are buying jackets and cardigans from over 50 brands. I will tell you that that is one of the most detrimental pieces to buy from over 50 brands is jackets and cardigans because often they are shapeless and they are dated. So it's really training your eye to see what is modern. How do we do that? How do we know what is currently current We do that by looking at the ageless brands and training our eye to see what's currently happening in style. So how do we go to sites like Cezanne, we go to sites like J. Crew, like Bowden, like Loft, like Banana Republic, like Anthropology. You don't have to be shopping these sites, but what I would encourage you to do is to spend some time scrolling on these sites and training your eye to what is currently happening in style, and then find your own home and your own place within that whole big modern aesthetic that is happening right now. So if you spend a lot of time on the over 50 stores, you're going to your perception of what's modern is going to be skewed. So it's really looking at, and I'm encouraging you to skip department stores when you're doing this kind of eye training exercise, because department stores have the good, the bad, and the ugly. They have the modern stuff and the not so modern stuff. Now you can look at department stores if what you're doing is looking at the contemporary selections at department stores. Like if you're filtering by the contemporary labels, then absolutely look at department stores. If you're looking at Alice and Olivia, Veronica Beard, Anine Bing, you're going to be doing you're going to be training your eye to what's modern through the lens of that brand. But if you do enough of that, you're scrolling through the ageless brands, you're scrolling through contemporary brands on your favorite department store websites, you're going to know what feels like 2020-ish and what feels like, a previous era. Okay, easy, and I'm going to wrap this up. I realize this is taking too long. Easy first steps to become modern again. First is to swap one silhouette. I'm going to tell you to look at one of three things that you can easily update that are going to elevate everything you wear: your jacket, your jeans, or your shoes. Your jacket, your jeans, or your shoes. So if you wear jeans a lot, that's the first place to start. Look at your jeans and how you can update your jeans. If you are going into, we're all going into colder weather, and if you feel like your coat is dated, that would be the next thing to swap. Like swap out your coat for a modern coat so that everything that you wear looks more elevated. And then shoes. Shoes are going to be the item with the biggest payoff when it comes to your style. And I know shoes are hard because we all need comfort. I'm not asking you to sacrifice comfort, but I am asking you to find an update that is also comfortable. One contemporary basic, a new modern jean, a great new jacket, a fabulous new sneaker. This season, we're looking at sleek sneakers that are lower profile and maybe in a retro style. So bringing in one contemporary staple piece into your fall 2025 wardrobe is an easy way to update your style. So happy you're here. Okay. The next thing that you can do is to remove the three most outdated items from your rotation. If you already know that you've got pieces that are dated, consider going ahead and just removing three items. You're still going to have clothes left to wear. I don't want you to eliminate everything. I want you to generally, I encourage you to replace, then remove. But you can pull three outdated items from your rotation and still not be naked, still have clothes to wear, and you're going to feel like your wardrobe is fresher. Use color strategically. That's another thing. Like really think about what do you already have in your wardrobe, and how can you create color combinations that feel fresh and feel updated in 2025 just by combining colors differently. And then commit to one modernizing moment this week. What are you going to do to modernize an outfit this week? Are you going to change the length of your top? Like maybe by doing a little tuck? Are you going to consider a different pants silhouette? Are you going to switch out to a more modern pair of shoes? Are you going to layer a little bit differently? Are you going to update the way that you've been doing your makeup or the way that you've been doing your hair? Commit to one modern moment this week. Okay, so this is why I feel so passionately about this. I have seen the way that women interact with the world completely change when they update their wardrobes and they feel fresh, they feel modern, they feel relevant. They interact differently with the world, and the world interacts differently with us. And that's something I feel passionately about for each of you. So with love and truly, again, not trying to cast a negative light on anyone else who's talking about style, but I would really take a step back and question anyone who tells you it doesn't matter if your clothes are modern. It doesn't matter if your clothes are in style. It doesn't matter if your clothes love you back. I believe that those are not going to serve us the best. And my goal here is to cheer you on so that you look and feel your best every single day. So that's it. Again, comment modern movement if you are on board and you want to look modern and you want to feel relevant and you want to feel your best in your clothes for the rest of our lives. Getting older is a blessing. We have more to offer the world now than we've ever had. And I don't want anybody dismissing us or writing us off because we don't feel like we know what's going on. Like we don't feel like we know what's going on. That's just insulting and unnecessary. It's so easy to make just a few tweaks that are going to modernize everything in your wardrobe and make you look and feel your best. So I love you guys. I'm always cheering you on. If you have time in about an hour and a half, we are going to be doing the next masterclass. And then December 8th, I have a masterclass series. It will be December 8th to the 10th. Would definitely encourage you to join me for that. Good to see you. Yes, love it. Modern movement, everyone. So join me for the masterclass today. Join me for the masterclass series December 8th. And then stay tuned all week on YouTube and on everywhere as I'm going to be talking about the modern brands that we should be leaning into over 50. Love you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.